You did everything right. You went to school. You worked hard. You prayed. You believed. You showed up. And somehow you still woke up one morning in your late 20s, your 30s, maybe pushing 40, and realized that you have absolutely no idea where your life is going. And the scariest part is not the confusion itself. The scariest part is the voice that comes with it. The one that says, if you were really living in God's will, you wouldn't feel this lost. If your faith was strong enough, you would have figured this out by now. If you were truly called, the path would be clearer. Today we are going to silence that voice, because feeling lost at this stage of your life is not a sign that you failed, and it is definitely not a sign that God has given up on you. Here are 5 pillars in navigating your ways. Pillar 1, pain validation. Let me tell you what this actually feels like from the inside. You scroll through social media and everyone your age seems to have it figured out. The career, the family, the purpose, the passion, and you are genuinely happy for them, but somewhere underneath that happiness is a quiet panic that you are running out of time. You have tried different things, different jobs, different cities, different relationships, and none of them felt like the thing. And now you are starting to wonder whether the thing even exists for you, or whether everyone else just settled and called it purpose. You pray about direction, and the answer feels like silence. You fast and seek and wait, and the clarity never quite arrives. And the longer it takes, the more you start to believe that maybe you missed it. Maybe you took a wrong turn somewhere years ago, and now you are too far off the path for God to reroute you. Can I tell you something? That thought that you are too far gone, too old, too late, too lost, that thought is a lie. And today we are going to dismantle it completely. Pillar 2, the tension. Here is what makes this season particularly brutal for the 25 to 44 age group. Society has given you a timeline. By 25, you should be established. By 30, you should be settled. By 35, you should be thriving. And if you are not hitting those markers, the world, and sometimes even the church, looks at you with that particular kind of pity that is worse than criticism. And the spiritual version of this pressure is just as damaging. Because somewhere along the way, the church taught us that a life of faith should look linear. That if you are truly following God, the path should make sense. The doors should open clearly. The calling should be obvious. The purpose should feel settled. But nobody prepared you for the season where you are genuinely seeking God and genuinely confused at the same time. Nobody told you that those two things could exist together. That you could be a person of deep faith and still have absolutely no idea what you are supposed to be doing with your life right now. And that gap between what you were told faith looks like and what your life actually looks like, that gap is where the shame lives. Pillar 3, the turn. Here is the reframe that changed everything for me. We have been taught to read our lives like a straight road. Point A to point B, clear direction, obvious destination. And when the road bends or disappears entirely, we interpret that as failure. But what if God never intended your life to be a straight road? What if the winding, the uncertainty, the seasons of not knowing, what if those were not detours from the plan but were always part of it? What if God is far less interested in the efficiency of your journey than he is in what you are becoming on the way? Moses was 40 years old tending sheep in the desert before God spoke to him from a burning bush. 40 years of obscurity. 40 years that looked from the outside like a wasted life. And those 40 years were not wasted. They were the preparation for the most significant calling in the Old Testament. Your lost season is not evidence that God is absent. It is often evidence that God is doing something too large to explain in a single moment of clarity. Pillar 4, biblical anchor. Let's talk about Moses more specifically because his story speaks directly to everyone feeling lost in this season. At 40, Moses tried to fulfill his calling in his own strength. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave and he stepped in and killed the Egyptian. He thought he was ready. He thought he understood his purpose. And the result was that he fled into the desert and spent the next 40 years feeling like everything had fallen apart. And here is the part that matters for you today. God did not appear to Moses in the burning bush at age 20. He did not appear at 30 or 35. He appeared at 80, after the failure, after the desert, after 4 decades of a life that looked from the outside like it had gone completely off course. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Notice what this verse does not say. It does not say the plans will be obvious. It does not say the path will be straight. It does not say you will understand every season while you are in it. It says God knows the plans, not you, God. And that distinction is everything. Because the pressure to have your life figured out at 30 is a human invention. God's timeline has never once been disrupted by your confusion. Proverbs 20 verse 24 says, "A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way?" Read that again. How can anyone understand their own way? Even the person walking faithfully with God is not always going to understand where the path is leading. That is not a flaw in your faith. That is the nature of trusting someone who can see what you cannot. Pillar 5, the core truth. Here is the one truth I want you to walk away with today. Feeling lost is not the opposite of being found. Sometimes feeling lost is the very process by which God finds you and by which you find yourself. The seasons where you have no idea what you are doing are often the seasons where you are being stripped of every false version of yourself, every identity you built around achievement, every sense of worth you tied to a title or a relationship or a milestone. God is not punishing you by leaving you in the unclear season. He is liberating you from everything you were relying on instead of Him. And what comes out of that process, if you let it do its full work, is a person who is no longer building their life around the approval of a timeline. A person who has learned to hold the future with open hands. A person whose foundation is so deep that when the next storm comes, they do not shake the way they used to. That person is worth the confusion. That person is worth every lost season it took to build them. Conclusion: if you are in your 20s or 30s or 40s and you feel like you are behind, I need you to hear this clearly. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not a cautionary tale. You are a person in process. And the God who created time is not watching your life with disappointment. He is watching with the patience of someone who already knows how the story ends. Stop measuring your chapter 3 against someone else's chapter 10. Stop apologizing for still being in the middle of becoming. Stop treating your uncertainty like a spiritual failure. The fact that you are still seeking, still praying, still showing up, still asking the hard questions, that is not weakness. That is one of the most courageous things a person can do. Pray this with me. God, I confess that I have let the world's timeline make me feel like I am failing yours. Today, I release the pressure of having it all figured out. I trust that you know where this road leads even when I cannot see around the next bend. Lead me. I will follow. Amen. Tell me in the comments, what is the one area of your life where you feel most lost right now? You do not have to have the answer, just name it. There is power in saying it out loud, and this community is a safe place to do that. If this spoke to something real in you, subscribe. Every week we go deeper into the conversations that faith communities rarely have but desperately need. You belong here. See you in the next one.